There comes a quiet kind of pain that many people never talk about. It isn't the pain of harsh words or open rejection. It is the silence that follows a message left unanswered, the conversation that suddenly ends, the feeling of standing in a room where your presence seems invisible. Being ignored can make even the strongest heart question its worth. It can tempt you to chase, to explain, to prove that you deserve to be seen. But what if that silence isn't a sign that you're losing your value? What if it's the very moment life is inviting you to discover a strength that no one else's attention can give or take away? Today, we are not here to learn how to make someone notice us. We are here to learn something far more powerful, how to notice ourselves. Because the people who rise above disappointment are not the ones who never experience rejection. They are the ones who refuse to let rejection define them. Every moment someone overlooks you can become a turning point, a chance to stand taller, love yourself more deeply, and walk with a confidence that doesn't depend on applause. By the end of this journey, you'll see that being ignored is not the end of your story. It may be the beginning of the strongest, wisest, and most unshakable version of yourself. One of the greatest mistakes we can make is allowing another person's behavior to become the mirror through which we see ourselves. The truth is, people ignore others for countless reasons. Some are distracted by their own struggles. Some are carrying wounds they have never healed. Some simply do not recognize the value standing before them. None of those reasons have the power to define who you are. The moment you believe your worth rises and falls with someone else's attention, you hand over the keys to your confidence. But your value was never meant to be controlled by another person's opinion. It was planted within you long before anyone chose to acknowledge it. Think of the sun hidden behind thick clouds. Even when the world cannot see its light, the sun has not lost a single ray of its brilliance. It continues to shine with the same strength, waiting for the clouds to pass. In the same way, your gifts, your kindness, your wisdom, and your purpose remain untouched by another person's silence. Just because someone fails to appreciate your presence does not mean your light has grown dim. It simply means they're not looking in your direction. Never confuse being overlooked with being ordinary. There will always be people who celebrate you and people who overlook you. If you spend your life trying to convince every person to recognize your value, you will exhaust yourself chasing something that was never yours to earn. Respect is wonderful when it is given freely, but self-respect is far more powerful because it comes from within. The strongest people are not those who receive constant praise. They are the ones who continue walking with confidence even when no applause can be heard. Every challenge carries a hidden invitation. When someone ignores you, life quietly asks, will you abandon yourself just because someone else has? Choose not to. Speak kindly to yourself. Invest in your dreams. Protect your peace. Continue learning, growing, and becoming. The relationship you build with yourself will last longer than the opinions of those who come and go. When your confidence is rooted in your own character instead of another person's attention, disappointment loses much of its power. Remember that every remarkable person has experienced moments of being overlooked. History is filled with individuals whose talents were ignored before they were celebrated. Their greatness did not begin on the day the world noticed them. It began on the day they refused to doubt themselves. Let that become your story as well. Stand tall in your values, remain faithful to your purpose, and refuse to shrink yourself for the comfort or approval of others. Your worth is not a reward someone gives you. It is a truth you choose to believe every single day. And once you truly believe it, no silence, no rejection, and no lack of attention will ever have the power to make you feel small again. There is a quiet freedom that enters your life the moment you stop chasing people who have decided to walk away. It may not happen overnight because the heart naturally wants answers. It wants to know what changed, what went wrong, and whether one more message or one more conversation might fix everything. But not every silence is an invitation to keep knocking. Some doors remain closed not because you are unworthy, but because life is gently guiding you toward a place where your presence will be appreciated instead of questioned. Peace begins the moment you accept that not every unanswered question requires an answer. Too often, we mistake persistence for love. We believe that if we try harder, explain ourselves better, or prove our loyalty one more time, someone will suddenly recognize our value. But relationships that require you to beg for basic respect slowly drain your spirit. They leave you feeling anxious, uncertain, and emotionally exhausted. Real connection should not feel like a constant battle for attention. The people who truly care about you may not be perfect, but they will never make you feel as though your existence is something they can acknowledge only when it is convenient. Protecting your peace is not about becoming cold or pretending you no longer care. It is about choosing wisdom over desperation. It is recognizing that your emotional energy is one of the most valuable things you possess. Every minute spent worrying about someone who ignores you is a minute stolen from your dreams, your healing, your family, and your future. Imagine how much your life could change if you invested that same energy into building your confidence, strengthening your character, and pursuing the purpose that has been waiting for your attention all along. There is incredible strength in learning to be still. Silence does not always mean defeat. Sometimes silence is where clarity is born. Instead of filling every empty space with worry, allow those quiet moments to teach you something about yourself. They reveal whether your happiness has been tied too tightly to another person's approval. They remind you that your identity was never meant to depend on someone else's response. When your heart becomes anchored in self-respect, another person's silence loses the power to shake your foundation. You cannot control how others treat you, but you can always choose how you respond. You can choose dignity instead of pleading. You can choose patience instead of panic. You can choose growth instead of resentment. Every graceful decision you make becomes another brick in the foundation of a stronger life. People may come and go, but the character you build through difficult moments will remain with you forever. One day, you will look back and realize that the peace you protected was worth far more than the attention you were chasing. You will discover that walking away from constant uncertainty created room for healthier relationships, deeper confidence, and a calmer heart. Never underestimate the power of choosing yourself without anger and without bitterness. The moment you stop running after those who refuse to see your worth, you create space for the people, opportunities, and blessings that will. Sometimes the greatest victory is not convincing someone to stay. It is finding the courage to keep moving forward with peace, knowing that your value has never depended on who chose to look away. Pain has a way of asking difficult questions. When someone ignores you, it is easy to believe that the story ends with disappointment. Yet every painful experience carries two paths before you. One path leads to bitterness, where every memory becomes another reason to doubt yourself. The other path leads to growth, where every setback becomes another lesson shaping your strength. The difference is not found in what happened to you, it is found in what you decide to do with what happened. You cannot always choose the experiences that enter your life, but you can always choose the meaning they leave behind. Instead of allowing rejection to become a permanent wound, allow it to become a patient teacher. Every difficult encounter reveals something valuable. It teaches you who truly values your presence. It teaches you the importance of healthy boundaries. It reminds you that your heart deserves relationships built on honesty, respect, and mutual care. Even the moments that make you cry can become the moments that make you wiser if you are willing to learn instead of simply suffer. Growth often arrives wearing the clothes of disappointment, and many people fail to recognize the gift because they are too focused on the pain. Imagine a tree standing through every season. The storms bend its branches, the winds shake its leaves, and the cold strips away what once looked beautiful. Yet, beneath the surface, its roots continue to grow deeper. That is how resilience is built. The strongest people are not those who avoid hardship. They are the ones who allow hardship to deepen their character instead of hardening their hearts. Your challenges are not signs that life has forgotten you. They are opportunities to become more grounded, more compassionate, and more confident than you were before. Use this season to invest in yourself with the same energy you once spent worrying about someone else's actions. Read books that expand your thinking. Learn a new skill that excites your curiosity. Care for your health, strengthen your faith, and spend time with people who encourage your spirit instead of draining it. Every small step you take toward becoming a better version of yourself is a quiet declaration that your future matters more than your past disappointment. Healing is not something that happens while you wait for others to change. It begins when you decide to change the way you see yourself. One day, the very experience that once broke your heart may become the reason you are able to comfort someone else. Your scars can become reminders of survival instead of symbols of defeat. They can teach you empathy, patience, and courage in ways comfort never could. The people who inspire the world are rarely those who lived without pain. They are those who transformed their pain into wisdom and their wounds into compassion. Never believe that your best days were left behind with someone who failed to see your worth. Life is still unfolding, and your story is still being written. Every sunrise brings another chance to rise stronger than yesterday. Keep walking, keep believing, and keep becoming. The greatest answer to rejection is not proving someone else wrong. It is proving to yourself that no disappointment is powerful enough to stop the person you are becoming. When you choose growth over grief, you discover a strength that no one can ignore and no circumstance can ever take away. There comes a moment in every person's life when they must make a choice between holding on to what is hurting them and holding on to themselves. That choice is rarely easy. We often believe that walking away means we have failed, that if we leave, we are admitting defeat. But there is a profound difference between giving up on someone and refusing to give up on your own peace. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to stop asking for a place in a life where your presence is no longer welcomed. That decision is not born from pride. It is born from wisdom. Boundaries are not walls built to keep love out. They are gates that protect what is precious within you. They remind the world that your kindness should never be mistaken for weakness, and that your patience should never become permission for others to take you for granted. Every healthy relationship is built upon mutual respect, and respect cannot survive where one person is constantly chasing while the other continues to withdraw. Love should never require you to abandon your dignity just to remain connected. Many people stay in painful situations because they fear what will happen if they let go. They worry about being alone, about starting over, or about never finding another meaningful connection. Yet, staying where you are, consistently ignored, creates a loneliness that is far deeper than physical solitude. There is a unique sadness in standing beside someone who refuses to truly see you. Walking away may bring temporary pain, but remaining where your spirit is slowly fading brings a much heavier burden. Sometimes freedom begins with a single courageous step in the opposite direction. Choosing yourself does not mean becoming bitter or closing your heart to the world. It means believing that you deserve relationships where kindness is returned, where conversations are genuine, and where your presence brings joy instead of inconvenience. It means refusing to shrink your voice, silence your dreams, or lower your standards simply to keep someone comfortable. The people who are meant to walk beside you will never require you to become less than who you are in order to earn their acceptance. There is remarkable strength in leaving without anger. You do not have to insult those who misunderstood you. You do not have to seek revenge against those who overlooked your value. Your greatest statement is the life you continue to build after you walk away. Let your peace speak louder than your frustration. Let your growth answer every doubt. A calm heart has a power that arguments can never achieve because it refuses to allow another person's choices to control its future. As you continue your journey, remember that every step away from disrespect is a step toward greater purpose. Every boundary you set is a promise to yourself that your heart will no longer be treated carelessly. The road ahead may feel unfamiliar, but it is also filled with possibilities that could never have appeared if you had remained standing before a closed door. Keep moving with grace. Keep believing in your own worth. The people who truly belong in your life will never ask you to sacrifice your self-respect in exchange for their attention. And when you honor yourself first, you make room for relationships that honor you in return. The most powerful response to being ignored is not proving someone wrong. It is proving to yourself that your life can continue to bloom even without the presence of those who chose to leave. Too many people place their future on hold while waiting for a message that never comes, or an apology that may never be spoken. Days turn into months, and dreams remain untouched because their attention is fixed on someone who has already looked away. But your life is too valuable to remain paused. Every sunrise is an invitation to move forward, to create, to discover, and to become. The future does not belong to those who wait endlessly. It belongs to those who keep walking with hope in their hearts. When you shift your attention from what you have lost to what you can still build, everything begins to change. Your energy becomes creative instead of anxious. Your thoughts become hopeful instead of fearful. You stop asking, "Why didn't they choose me?" and begin asking, "What kind of person do I want to become?" That single question has the power to transform your entire journey. The answer is never found in another person's approval. It is found in the quiet decisions you make each day to honor your potential, strengthen your character, and live with purpose. Fill your life with things that awaken your spirit. Read words that challenge your thinking. Walk beneath the open sky and remember how vast the world truly is. Learn something new that reminds you growth has no age limit. Spend time with people who celebrate your victories and stand beside you during your struggles. Laugh without guilt. Dream without fear. Build habits that nourish your body, your mind, and your soul. Every choice that brings you closer to the person you hope to become weakens the hold that disappointment once had over your heart. There is a beautiful truth that many people discover too late. The life you create for yourself will always be more rewarding than the life you spend trying to convince someone else to stay. Success is not measured only by achievements or possessions. It is measured by the peace you carry, the kindness you share, and the confidence that allows you to stand tall even when no one is applauding. A meaningful life is built one faithful step at a time, through ordinary moments filled with extraordinary intention. Do not underestimate the quiet power of consistency. A single day of healing may seem small, but repeated over weeks and months, it changes the way you see yourself. One good habit leads to another. One act of courage inspires the next. Before long, you begin to notice that the pain which once occupied every corner of your mind has been replaced by purpose. The memories still exist, but they no longer control your emotions. They become reminders of how far you have traveled rather than chains that keep you from moving ahead. One day, someone may wonder how you remain so strong after being overlooked. They may expect to find bitterness, but instead they will find wisdom. They may expect regret, but they will see gratitude. They will notice a person who refused to let rejection become their identity. And the greatest surprise of all is this: by the time those who ignored you finally look your way, their attention will no longer be the treasure you once believed it to be. You will have discovered something far greater. You will have built a life rooted in purpose, surrounded by genuine love, guided by inner peace, and strengthened by the unshakable belief that your value has never depended on who chose to stay or who decided to leave.